The government's failure to secure the court's support in its bid to have provisional liquidators appointed to preserve the assets of CL Financial is good news for Trinidad and Tobago. This from Chair of the CLECO Policyholders Group, Peter Permel. The case was dismissed by High Court Judge Kevin Ramcharan on Wednesday night. Dian Patisse tells us more.
If government was successful in its attempt to have provisional liquidators appointed to preserve the assets of CL Financial, it would have been bad news for the country, shareholders and policyholders. This from Chair of the CLECO Policyholders Group, Peter Permel, who says provisional liquidators would simply freeze the company's assets, making it impossible for the company to function.
They have argued that the company is insolvent, and an insolvent company cannot trade. And this provisional liquidator, their responsibility is to preserve the assets for its creditors only, the creditors of the company only. So the point that the lawyer for the state was making is that not even salaries would have been able to be paid.
Mr. Permel says the issue of systemic risk must always be considered.
This is not a parlor. This is a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, and the assets of the conglomerate would consist of shares in other subsidiary companies. And therefore, if you freeze all the assets of a lot of people are going to be affected. And it will have, as I said, unintended consequences.
He claims that liquidation has been referred to as the nuclear option since 2009. If implemented, he says, no one wins.
This liquidation would take years to be completed, and it would be at tremendous cost to the company, the taxpayers and so on, because the people who would benefit would be the liquidator, the lawyers, the accountants, and all the other technical people, the advisors and so on. They would have to be paid out of the proceeds from the sale of those assets first, and then you would start to pay the other creditors. So the government would end up with cents on the dollar.
Mr. Permel says though successful in round one, the CLECO policyholders are not out of the woods just yet. The substantive case for the winding up petition, which requires that the court appoint a liquidator to wind up the company, will be heard at the High Court on July 25th. Mr. Permel says the shareholders are now in a position to contest the liquidation, so they'll have to put forward their submissions. All things considered, he expects the matter to be adjourned and no liquidator appointed on the 25th. Dian Patisse, C News.
Well, word tonight that the state intends to appeal the High Court decision after its application seeking to appoint provisional liquidators for CL Financial was dismissed on Wednesday night.